How's it going, everyone? So last minute kind of video again. Didn't really have any ideas at the moment with the top cam just not working. I don't really want to do too many deck profiles just using Omega because I like cardboard, but I'll get the top cam working, and at the very least I can like feed out these deck profiles via Omega in the meantime. It's just trying to run like two Elgatos at the same time. My computer is not liking it. So we're going to have a look at, I guess, like Thunder Dragon Chaos. I mean, it's fairly cookie cutter in the main deck. The spices in the extra. This is probably my least jank deck and probably my most practiced. I haven't played Goat in a good long while, and I really want to. So I'll just do the card by card. Starting off with the BLS. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. He was my boy back in school. I was like the only kid who had one, which meant I was winning Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much consistently back in those days, because it was just schoolyard Yu-Gi-Oh! And he tends to be on a lot of the stuff, like before we had our own branded mats. It was a BLS mat. BLS is my boy. So got a nice one from Tom. You know what? We'll go to full screen. It's fine. We have time. Got a nice one from Tom, which is an IOC. It's not first ed, but I plan on getting one. And it was like really nice. It was like a birthday present. Just before I go back, if there's any other standouts, I think I've got some particularly nice pieces, and then I just have proxies for others. The speed duel stuff as well. If you're a Goat player, you can get like real nice speed duel rarities. And it just brings the cost right down and makes everything nice and shiny. So, Breaker and DD Warrior Lady, these are like cheap, or they were when I picked them up, and they're just the speed duel ones. The recent DT Night Assailants, pretty nice. Really like that in that rarity. And DT Nox as well. They're pretty nice. A lot of people don't like them. I don't know. I feel like it's like how sought after something is. Because at the same time I have like a star rarity of another card and I hate it. I'm also not a fan of my massively mismatched rarity Tsukiomis. I need to fix that. The other kind of headliners, probably where all the money in it is the banned cards that have been banned forever, but these were Hobby League, not actually legal in actual tournaments, but Hobby League Decoichis. They look great. They look like proto Starlights, way less shiny but still cool. Secret Delinquent Duo. Yeah, that is definitely secret. And Hog in Super, which isn't too bad. I also have like the collector's rare BLS in my binder. But that's for special occasions. So, getting back to the list, BLS, you can control with him, you can OTK with him, he kind of is pretty much the powerhouse of the format. He gets a double attack if you attack over something. He's a 3k body. He's pretty much free in this deck. He just needs banish a light and a dark, and he can target one monster on the field, banish it. I'm not sure if it's actually card in Goat text, but I don't know if the text will be accurate on my old one. Might just be monster. I might be misquoting. Might be acting like he's way stronger than he is. Or I might not have been able to read as a small child. Which, you know, is a possibility. should be right about. What's he gone? Doesn't help that I'm just rifling through a pile of goat stuff. Yeah, remove one monster from the field from play. Goat text was kind of weird. So yeah, targets and banishes. So you can kind of slam him in defense, keep on the offensive, but be controlling the game state of advantage just by taking out their monsters as they come out. Chaos Orc. BLS is at 1 and I want to play him at 4, so this is the next best thing. Banish a light and a dark, and once per turn you can target one face-up monster on the field, banish that target, but it can't attack the turn it does that. That's a stipulation on BLS as well, that it can't attack. Thunder Dragons, this kind of just makes it work. It's really degenerate in some ways, even though you wouldn't think it. If you open a Thunder Dragon and Graceful, or if you've recycled Graceful and you happen to get into a Thunder Dragon, discard it, add 2 other Thunder Dragons to hand. Look at that, your draw 3 is actually free. Otherwise, you cycle it, putting 2 into the grave, which gives plenty of fuel for your Chaos monsters. Breaker, it outs back row. You add a counter to it, it gains 300 attack, so it's a nice beefy 1900 body, and you can remove that counter and then target one spell or trap on the field, destroy it, which battle traps are a thing in GOAT, so it's pretty heads up. DD Warrior Lady. After damage calculation, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster, also banish this monster, so it's spot removal for big problems that you're struggling with. Dekoichi, this is gonna be kind of a theme. That flips were strong anyway, but I really like flips in this. So if you flip it up, you draw a card, then draw an additional card for each face-up Dekoichi you control. Pretty much more often than not, you're just going to be drawing one off it. It's an upstart, but it's also, you kind of front run your flips depending how you draw, obviously, but also like Nobleman is in the format, so try and bait it and then try and control it with your really good flips. Gravekeeper's Spy is an absolute house defensively. Basically flip, special summon a Gravekeeper monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck. Look at that. Spy has 12. Special another Spy. So you've immediately got a 4k wall after they probably just rammed something small into 2k. If you're playing against Gravekeepers, very funny, they can't get over this. So you can kind of wall up until you can get into control of the game state again, because Gravekeepers can be really awkward for this deck. Tsukiyomi, this is where a lot of the flip control comes. This is just awesome card. You summon it, you flip a card face down. It's Book of Moon on a spirit monster, and then you add it back to hand. So all these flip monsters can get recycled if your opponent isn't getting over them. Through doing a few more control-y bits. Night Assailant, you can flip it, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. If this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, target one flip monster in your graveyard. I don't believe that is pre-errata. Okay, let's get the pre-errata text in there. Are there any others that have had erratas? Let's get pre-errata text in there as well. Keep going to add to side. Yeah. So, yep, that's no different. That's as we discussed. And flip, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. When this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, target one flip monster in your graveyard, except this card, return that target to the hand. I'm not even sure if on its original text it excluded itself. I'm assuming it did, but either way, you're always getting one of your impactful flips back, like Magician of Faith, which has advantageous typing. you'll find a lot of this is light and dark. Flip target one spell in your graveyard, add the target to your hand. Magician of Faith is brilliant in this because old school spells are absolutely monstrous, whereas old school monsters kind of mid, for the most part. Magical Merchant, speaking of, flip, excavate cards off the top of your deck until you excavate a spell or trap. Then add that card to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Having loaded graveyard in a Chaos deck is pretty nice. If you hit the one of, it kind of sucks, but otherwise, you're turboing into your spell traps, which are powerful, and you're loading your graveyard with light and dark targets. Yeah, literally everything is a light or dark there. Onto the spells. Card Destruction, load your graveyard. Also, is hilarious if Moz thinks that he's just got you beat, have no way of winning, and then you notice he's got 4 cards in deck and you've got this in hand. Honestly, it might be tied, but it's really up there as one of the most satisfying wins I have ever got. Delinquent Duo, paying 1,000 life points, your opponent discards 1 random card, and if they have any other cards in their hand, discard 1 more, their choice. Just a straight +1. Graceful Charity, draw 3 cards and then discard 2 cards. Arguably better than Pot of Greed because graveyard setup's good in this deck. Also, you can just freebie it so it's a draw 3 if you happen to have the Thunder Dragon. These are slower games as well, so stuff where it's a weird 2-card combo is not that hard to kind of, set up, wait out. The situation comes up a lot more than you would think. People tend to get really salty with this format for that. Heavy Storm, destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. This is why your GOAT board is AT set and pass. You do not overcommit with your spell and traps for that very reason. Nobleman of Crossout, you target 1 face down monster on the field, destroy that target, and if you do, banish it. And then, if it was a flip monster, each player reveals their main deck, then banishes all cards from it with that monster's name. Knock is insane, and if flip still existed prominently in the game and were a key part of a deck, it would be ridiculous. You get everything. You get deck knowledge, you rip out a key piece. Like, I have to be careful when I'm playing not to front run my really good flips. Like the Magician of Faith. But yeah, getting my Gravekeeper Spies just ate by Knock even hurts, and they're just kind of fodder to stall out. Pot of Greed. You draw 2 cards. That's it. Pretty good. Book of Moon, it's Tsukiyomi, but on a spell, and a quick play at that. It's seen modern meta play. It is a really good card. Mystical Space Typhoon. Back row removal's a little scarce, and some back row is a little scary. So, like, it being quick play is helpful as well. For reasons we'll see soon. Premature Burial. Activate this card by paying 800 life points, then target 1 monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in attack position and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. You can do some really weird stuff with that. So you can, like, premature back a Magician of Faith, or even, like, something stronger if it was properly summoned. Flip it face down using a Book of Moon or a Tsukiyomi. That's just no longer bound by the restrictions of that card anymore. And then profit. Continue with your day. Snatch Steal. You can do this as well with Snatch Steal. Equip only to a monster your opponent controls. Take control of the equipped monster. During each of your opponent's standby phases, they gain 1,000 life points. So this, again, is just breakable in this format. This, I believe, came off the ban list like a fair few formats ago, and they were just like, nope, absolutely not, broke the game. But yeah, if you can flip their monster, you get to keep it. Fun. fun rules. Bottomless trap hold. When your opponent summons a monster with 1500 or more attack, destroy that monster with 1500 or more attack, and if you do, banish it. This pretty much handles most of the scaries of the format. Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares attack, destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. It's bad now, it was great then. Ring of Destruction. Disgusting in this format because the damage applied to your opponent first or simultaneously, I believe. Either way, you do a bunch of damage with your big BLS attacking twice. You didn't manage to clear it. You flip this up, you win the game. It was kind of interesting for OTKs. Torrential Tribute. It board wipes. When a monster's summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. We know this. Call of the Haunted, kind of like Premature Burial, but on a trap. You can pull all the same shenanigans with that. Onto the side and where it gets interesting. Jinzo. Trap decks are particularly annoying in GOAT. So, that is actually the art that I've got. Unfortunately, it's not the English copy because that was extremely expensive, I believe. I think. Or maybe I was just broke. But we have got the very nice Jinzo alt art, which is top tier Jinzo in my opinion. So, yeah, says no to traps. Vampire Lord is great. It kind of just chews the deck up and rips options out. So if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, declare one card type monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent sends one card of that type from the deck to the graveyard. Once per turn during your next standby phase, after this card in your possession was destroyed and sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, special summon the card. It's very free with the Recruiter package, but the nice thing with Vampire Lord is you can be denying them of a substantial game mechanic. So, say they have traps like, or spells to protect a key part. A lot of this was kind of tailored to beat Tom because he plays Gravekeepers. In the side, so I'm sure he's put a caption up. But the Recruiters cut out the weakness to Necro Valley, which is by far and away the worst matchup, and you can just start chipping away at all of his defensive options. Azura Priest, GOAT control itself is really strong, and Azura Priest happens to just out all of the Scapegoat tokens, which is pretty nice. So that's a side option for one of the best decks of the format. Pyramid Turtle. This floats. This is nuts. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one zombie monster with 2000 or less defense from your deck. And we've got two spicy options. This was nuts back in the day because, like, getting around this, you'd like Book of Moon and knock it. You would Ring of Destruction it. Like, it's going to be in defense, face down, all the time. So you're not going to run into a Mirror Force with it. Torrential, yeah, that solves the problem. But you're looking at a 2-card combo to out just a little conga line here. You can also float straight in Spirit Reaper, which was the headline card of the format that directly followed Go. So pretty good card. Cannot be destroyed by battle. After resolving a card effect that targets this face-up card, destroy the card. So, for example, you can Book a Moon it and it'll pop itself. There's weird rulings with it. I'd have to refresh, but I'm pretty sure Book a Moon targets after resolving a card. Yeah, I think it does pop it. But yeah, any targeting will just immediately destroy it. But there's not a lot that targets particularly. And then, like, the stuff that does target, so, like, I'm not sure if Snatch Steal targets, but, like, it's a pain. It is just an asshole to deal with. Also, tiny body, but when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, discard a card. It's Don Zalug as well as a closest thing to a Towers of the Time. Moving on, got a couple of Dust Tornadoes, which, yeah, slow back row hate is not bad. Just kind of setting up, setting a Dust Tornado, a deck gets into a particular thing they need, and you just get it popped. There's even arguments for like Jar of Greed in it, where you're just kind of faking out back row removal because it's that to and fro with it, and there's not a lot of options. Trap Dust Shoot. Now these are my absolute best copies. Oh, beautiful. I need to pick up Dust Shoots. Activate only if your opponent has 4 or more cards in the hand. Look at your opponent's hand, select one monster card in it, return that card to the owner's deck. Lotus just got banned. Water Art Owie is now being played in Modern. Looking at your opponent's hand and ripping something out of it is insane, and it never hasn't been. Solemn Judgment. Everyone thought this was bad at the time, but just noping something. It's pretty good. Life points still aren't as much of a resource as the perception was at the time, and kind of cutting something dead that would stop your tempo or push theirs forward, I still think is well worth it. The ratios are a little bit weird. You'll notice a lot of 2-ofs in the deck, and that's because it's a slower game and you just can have more space for tools. There's not necessarily, like, other than my big chaos bosses, which, like, I expect to hit off magical merchants, I expect them to get diffused. Yeah, we can do a very quick test hand, but it's go, so you're not going to pop off. So you have such amazing combos as set Gravekeeper's Spy and pass, which is perfectly good start. You can Thunder Dragon for Thunder Dragon for Thunder Dragon. You can set a DD Warrior Lady, and if you really want, you can protect it with a Ring of Destruction. Top tier combo. Let's see if we got anything interesting. Oh, many options. So we can set a Magician of Faith, set an MST. Not really going to recur anything there. That was an absolute misplay. So should have gone with the Magical Merchant. Saw Magician of Faith and got carried away, and I saw a way of recurring it. Oh wow, that's just insult to injury. So I guess we set one of these. We set one of these. We do not hand destruction because our big boss monster's there, and they summon a thing, and we go. Oh, you thought I just needed that engrave, and then set a thing, and they presume that this is just a really bad bot, by the way. And they didn't kill the thing that I needed them to kill. So, bots aren't helpful. We'll do a last one. And we still haven't opened the God combo. But, yeah. Set Gravekeeper's Spy. Set up your light and dark. Honestly, you could just hold the Thunder Dragon. But you've cycled for 2 there. You've got a dark on the way, and you can play a resource game. Yeah. So that's go. We might do some games and kind of feature them or something, because honestly, test hands do not do it justice. You're not exactly comboing. I would really recommend the format. I'd say it improved my game for modern massively, because just learning to hold your resources as much as you possibly can. I kind of go by a rule that Moz taught me and used Goat to teach me: unless something is threatening your board, leave it alone. Doesn't matter. Like, that tends to be the first thing from going to beginner to intermediate with regards to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'd say, like, grand scheme, I'm pretty intermediate. That's not to say bad. But for a general rule of when to stop something, unless you know that it's going to a place that you can't interact with and it's going to really do you over, leave it alone. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to stop the thing that's going to hurt you, not the thing before it. So, yeah. That's been Goat, and I have built a bunch of Goat decks. Me and Tom used to play Goat on Twitch all the time. I've got a bunch of different ones, so who knows? I'll probably record a load. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the bell icon, do all those good things, and let's change the subject. I'm leaving.